Hello there, grade, and welcome to our second reading skill for today. For the next couple weeks, we're going to be looking at chapters, scenes, and stanzas. Now, when you hear these words, these are parts of different kinds of texts. Today, we're going to be looking at one of these kinds, and throughout the next couple of weeks, we'll be practicing some of them. So the first one we have is a chapter. Chapters are from books, and they organize a book into sections. The second one we have is a scene. Scenes divide plays or theater performances or musicals into different sections. And finally, stanzas divide up a poem. So each one of these words are sections of a kind of text. We can look a little bit deeper into these. We can see a chapter book. We'll have a table of contents to organize all of the chapters. A play, movie, or story would organize their story into a couple of scenes. So scene 1, they're in one place. Scene 2, they would be in a different place. And finally, stanzas. Stanzas are one or two more lines in a poem that are grouped together to separate the poems. Today we're going to be looking at stanzas and different kinds of poems. On your class kit today, we will be labeling the poem and reading it together. We'll be labeling lines, stanzas, the title, and the poet. Let's go ahead and go to our class kick. Pause the video so you can get there with me. The first thing we are going to do is read through our poem together. You'll be doing this as well by using the record tool and reading out loud. First one I will read to you. Spring showers, pitter patter, drip drip drop. The rain came down like someone wringing out a mop. Pitter patter, splish, splish, splash. We heard thunder and lightning, a boom and a crash. Pitter patter, glip, glop, glop. We sloshed through the mud until the last drop. Pitter patter, where did you go? The sun was shining so bright, it made a big rainbow. Now I can see different parts of figurative language in here. I see a lot of peas, spring showers, starts with the same sound, splish splash, starts with the same sound. That is all alliteration. We also have a lot of sound words, and that's onomatopoeia, glip, glop, glop. Poems and poetry uses a lot of figurative language in their writing. Now let's label the different parts. The first part we're going to label is the title. Find your favorite color. And I want you to circle the title. We'll draw a line and write title. The title tells us what the poem is going to be about. Now I want you to grab your highlighting tool. I'm going to highlight this very first line. Now grab a different color, make sure it's the same one, and that is a line. Let's count how many lines there are in this poem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 lines in this poem. Lines are just one line of the poem. Grab a different color in your rating tool. The last one we're going to be talking about today is a stanza. A stanza is a group of lines. Box the first stanza. It's line 1 and line 2. Stanzas normally have the same number of lines in them. And you can see there is a space between stanzas. Let's count how many stanzas there are in this passage. We have 1. We'll box the second one. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Pause the video so you can catch up and box all of the 8 stanzas. Now, knowing the different parts of a poem can help us answer questions about the poem. So if I asked you in stanza number 2, what sound did stanza number 3, what sound did the water make? Splish, splash, splish, splash. On the next page, we will be answering some questions about number 2. Go to the next page. Understanding the stanza. The poem title is called Spring Showers. Right, Spring Showers. Now, what happened in this stanza? We're looking at stanza number 2. We'll go back, find stanza number 2. The rain came down like someone wringing out a mop. So that's using figurative language. It uses like, so that is a simile. If the rain was coming out like someone wringing out a mop, how fast do you think the rain was coming down? Probably really fast. So what happened in this stanza was, in this stanza, we'll use what we learned about answering questions, crossing out the question words, and using the rest. In this stanza, it talks about rain coming down really hard. Pause the video if you need more time to write this out. Number 2. What happened in the previous stanza to support what happened in this stanza? So this was stanza 1, so the previous one would be stanza 1. Pitter patter, drip, drip, drop. How does that support the rain came down like someone was wringing out a mop? Well, it gives sounds of what the water may have sounded like, what the rain may have sounded like. Let's cross out the question words. What happened? Grab your text tool. In the previous stanza, there, or the author, we'll say this, used, what's that sound? What are sound words called? What figurative language type? Onomatopoeia. The author used onomatopoeia to show what the rain sounded like. That's how it supported stanza number 2. Pause the video if you need more time to write this out. And number 3. What happens in the next stanza to help what happened in this stanza? So let's go back and look at the next one. So we're looking at 3, the next one would be 4. Oh, it uses the same thing. It uses onomatopoeia. Now I might share that the author used alliteration as well, because they all start with the same beginning sound. So the author used alliteration to show what it sounded like. Cross out my question words. What happened? Use the rest of my answer. Oops. In the next stanza, it used alliteration. Make sure I spell that. Alliteration. To show the rain falling. Or I might even use splashing, because that's the word they used in stanza 3. Pause the video if you need more time to write this out, and this is all we're going to be doing with poems and stanzas for today. We'll look more into this in the rest of our lessons this week.